I've been following the migrant story now for quite a while for personal reasons. I'll get to that later on in the video. But, of course, I have an opinion about this whole ordeal and this whole fiasco. Let me just give you my 2 cents on the story thus far. But first, I think it's important that you know that I'm very appreciative for your support. So thank you so much for liking and subscribing if you haven't done so. And if you wanted to do more, you have options in the description below. And if you're new here, I am Alistair Hanzekio, and this is just my point of view. Let's go.
Federal immigration authorities say 2 of the asylum seekers arrested for attacking New York City police officers recently are members of a notorious Venezuelan gang, and that one of them should not have been in the United States because a Texas judge had previously ordered him deported. 5 of the 8 now in custody for the attack were in court today to hear the charges against them, and Fox's Linda Schmidt has our story.
Wilson Juarez and Kelvin Servita Arocha in court today in Lower Manhattan are members of the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua, according to ICE. The 2 are part of the migrant mob accused of beating and kicking 2 NYPD officers in Times Square last month. ICE telling me today that Juarez should not have even been in the U.S. A judge in El Paso, Texas, ordered him deported a year ago. Now they, along with 5 others in this case, are behind bars at Rikers. Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg asking the judge for bail since the suspects have been indicted.
Our criminal justice system did its job. These individuals are all behind bars where they belong.
After their initial arrest, Juarez and Arocha were released without bail by DA Bragg, along with Yorman Reveron and Darwin Gomez Isquiel. Isquiel was arrested again this week and charged with shoplifting at a Macy's in Queens.
They should have never been released. The DA in the case should have requested bail. The judge should have kept them behind bars.
Yohenry Brito was the only suspect who was sent to Rikers on $15,000 bail after the beating in January. A source telling me that he was released this week after an activist pastor from a Brooklyn church posted his bail. However, he is now back in Rikers while authorities investigate the source of that money. Police body cam video shows the interaction with the officers and the migrants on January 27th. Officers had instructed the group not to block the sidewalk and to move along. Some of the suspects' lawyers raising questions as to whether police overreacted.
I think it's undisputed that physical contact in this case was initiated by a police officer.
The bottom line is that this individual didn't comply with the New York City police law.
Okay, so a lot to unpack here. Let's go step by step. Number 1 is those particular migrants were asylum seekers, and they were denied that request for the simple reason that they are or were believed to be members of a Tren de Aragua gang, which happened to be a Venezuelan gang. I'll get into them a little bit later. One Texan judge, so one in particular, actually was suggested to be deported by orders of a Texan judge. That didn't happen, obviously, because he found himself to be there in New York City. Now, the Manhattan District Attorney, Alvin Bragg, did 2 things here. The first one is he asked the judge for bail. Fine. Later on, he released them without bail. I'm going to laugh here a little bit because if you do a little bit of digging in terms of this story, you get mixed emotions. You get mixed emotions before this particular incident, and you get mixed emotion after this particular incident. Let's go to the mixed emotion before. And the attitude really is like, oh my God, they're children. They obviously want to escape their past life and they're here for something better. Wow. And then after this particular incident, which we'll get to later on, the sentiment is completely different. And here is where my opinion comes in. My initial thought is that you can't please everybody. And I don't know about you, I really appreciate my safety. I don't want to walk in. I don't want to be, don't touch me. Don't breathe down my neck. Don't yell at me. I'm not your child. I'm not your confidant like that. Stay away from me. That's how I feel. And so to be in a position where I have to be subjected to even someone putting their finger on me is a problem. And so when I hear anyone with a violent criminal past, I get a little bit uneasy. I'm not saying they're not capable of change, but in my opinion, I trust you that much more less. You could totally rehab yourself and be a better person over there. Do you know what I mean? I certainly don't feel super comfortable. And yeah, you might call it prejudice, but it only takes one moment to ruin your life. Look at that tourist who got shot in the leg. She was just going to New York for tourism. And now she's in the hospital with a bullet in her leg. It takes one moment to change your life. And I'm not that type of person I don't take random chances. I have too much to lose. And so to me, I am really not on the side of the Alvin Bragg Manhattan District Attorney. I'm certainly not on the side of this idea that people of a violent nature are not followed so closely. I was going to get the binoculars to emote, the closely, but it's really far. I can't reach it, Nah, whatever. Anyway, so really that's my thought for the first part, all right? Now let's get to the second part of this first segment, because then so obviously the kids were apprehended again because they were acting like a fool. So they were apprehended again. And one of them, so they were all released, but one of them was sent back to prison. I don't know why. So he was sent back to Rikers Island on a $15,000 bail that a activist pastor posted the bail. Now listen, I love you very much. I love you a ton. $15,000? I'm not giving you that. I'm not giving that to you. Absolutely not. Listen, it's one thing, $1, sure, $2, sure, maybe $100, but $15,000? What? Would I even pay that for yes, I will pay that for a family member. Activists? Okay, fine. But long story short, the one thing I do have to say that was kind of wrong is that the activist was investigated. The activist pastor was investigated to see the nature and the source of the money. I think that's just unnecessary to even say it, right? So if he got the money, okay, fine. He sent it. He's an activist. And so he wanted the kid to be free, but turns out he was still sent back to jail, right? And so I say all this to say, and of course, beware of absolutes, right? What that means is that you can't blanket everything with an opinion, but absolutely don't not pay attention to the individual cases. So of course, beware of absolute. Not all violent criminals are violent forever. Not all XYZs. Not all young offenders are not out of reach of rehabilitation. And that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that pay close attention to people's behavior first before you give them second chances. And certain criterias don't merit a second chance right away. I don't know if that made any sense. And don't throw tomatoes. I told you I would dodge them all. Yeah. Anyway, next segment.
Welcome back. I'm Christine Johnson. The teenager arrested in the Times Square shooting has now been indicted on second-degree attempted murder and assault charges.
CBS 2's Lisa Rogers spoke with the suspect's father, who was in court today.
15-year-old Jesus Rivas Figueroa remains in custody without bail. He is being tried as an adult, and Monday he pleaded not guilty to second-degree attempted murder in the February 8th shooting in Times Square. Figueroa is accused of shoplifting and then aiming the gun at the security officer who stopped him, but then allegedly missing and hitting a tourist in the leg instead. He's also accused of shooting at a police officer trying to arrest him in the middle of crowded Times Square. His defense attorney translated for Figueroa's dad after court.
He was working, taking care of his kids, and so he cannot control what they're alleging his son did.
Police say Figueroa arrived in New York City from Venezuela less than 6 months ago and was living in a shelter on the Upper West Side. His father would not say whether he was also living in that shelter, but did say Figueroa was going to school.
He understands the severity of these charges. He also understands the climate of this case and that NYPD is heavily involved.
Reps from the police union were in court. The DA said, "We will continue to work closely with our law enforcement partners to ensure full accountability for gun violence."
Listen, how can you make a statement like that, Alvin Bragg, and then release him without bail? Here's the question about this segment, and I'm sure some of you are parents, and so some of you, I know what the answer is, but not all of you. And if you were a parent, what would the answer be? But if this was your kid, would you stand by your kid like that? All right? Because my first thing is, he's from the trendy Aragua gang. I'll get on that gang in a second. And then you manage to grab your son and escape to a potential better life. And he pulls something like this, not even like a couple years after arriving. First of all, where'd you get the gun, kid? Oh. Now, and this is maybe why you might think I'm maybe crude. And I've said it many times, and I've had a conversation with my spouse many, many, many times. If that was my daughter, I'm not going anywhere near you. I would love you from afar, highly disappointed. Not interested at all. If the proof was in the pudding like that, it's different if you're innocent and I have to defend you, because I would defend you like nobody has ever defended anyone before. I told you I would go broke, hiring everybody and suing everyone. I would go broke. I would literally prostitute myself to pay the legal bills. I'm not even kidding. Nothing is beyond me or above me. I will do whatever I need to do to get it done. But if you are guilty like that, you best believe I'm not wasting my time. I'm not wasting a single ounce of my brain cells, because it's important that you teach your kid consequences. I get it. We're living maybe they live in an environment where they don't have the choice. But I got news for you. I'm just educating you. Listen. I'm an African immigrant, you know that. For those who are new here, I'm an African immigrant. And listen, being an African immigrant, poverty it's not new to me. I've seen poverty. I've seen all that mess and that whole oh my God, do better. No, this is really for people who are from first world countries who don't understand really the level of poverty from a third world country. Please, there are plenty out there, but they don't turn out to be gang members. Okay, so I'm not to say it's not conducive environment. What I'm trying to tell you is that, mom, dad, I don't care if we're poor and we eat dirt. Where are you going? You're not hanging out with those kids, are you? Come here. Please. Listen. And I think only immigrants can really understand the situation. And that's why maybe if you're not an immigrant, you may not understand. If you never really traveled out of the country, if you're not quite of a migrant situation, it may not compute to you. But when I hear they're from the gang because they're poor, it goes right in here at the other, because I've seen plenty of poor people, desperately poor people, who don't end up in gangs. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah. Where am I? Oh, right. Okay. So I get on the gang a little bit. Matter of fact, let's go on the gang now. My operating floor is not a mess. Follow me along. Let's get and talk about this gang. All right. So the Tren de Aragua, which means Aragua train. It's so original. All right. So the Aragua train gang is the largest criminal organization in Venezuela with over 5,000 members. Listen. It's led by Hector Rutherford Guerrero Flores, alias Nino Guerrero. I feel so scared talking about him out loud like that. Please don't come over here. Listen to me. I'm just another migrant making a story. That's all. So look, listen. The gang has 6 expanded throughout Latin America and the United States. amidst the Venezuelan refugee crisis. Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you here? Because I'm trying to paint to you a dot as to how did this incident happen. Because I have a thought about this, right? Listen. With the growth of the gang following the migration of Venezuelans to host nations. Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you? Listen, due to the severity of its crimes, combating the gang has become a priority to many nations where Trinidad and Tobago has entered. These are violent people. Violent. This is not a bail, no bail situation kind of boy. Violent. Don't look at this boy and think, oh my God, little kid crying. He must be so frightened for his parents. Listen. No, I'm not going to say it out loud. But anyway, now in terms of their operations, and this is important, they are the first Venezuelan gang to expand internationally. They are literally all over Latin America. And they are particularly very good at human trafficking, human smuggling. Forget the drugs, darling. Forget the drugs. They do that, but their expertise is to kidnap you and your dog. Ooh, what am I doing? Okay, I had to catch myself because, okay, let me retake this. The expertise is in human trafficking and human smuggling. Yeah. And kidnapping for ransoms. Yeah. So let me bring this back into context of the story. And the reason why the idea of the gang is so important here is because, well, two things. The first one is they were released without bail. Knowing that fact. That could be your daughter. I'm just saying. That could be your kid. Like the woman who got shot in the leg, that could be you. Or your kid. I'm just saying. I'm not trying to fearmonger because fearmongering is also not a problem. Not all migrants are like this. This is just one incident, right? The majority of migrants are upstanding citizens. I'm telling you this, and hopefully you stick around to the final thought so I can explain to you a little bit why this story is important to me. Why I'm following this story. I got an itch. What time is it? Okay, I'm good on time. Sort of. Anyway. No, yeah, because it's important that as we construct... all right. Now that I painted the picture of really those little boys, those little kids that look like boys and look like kids, they're not really kids. They've lived a harder life than your kid, okay? And those parents acting all innocent, please, they know very well, the status and the state of them children, okay? So with the parents escaping here to the U.S., all right, I think it's great. But that should have been the time to wrangle your kid and be like, you do right here. But guess what? I don't think they had an option. And I tell you why. The reason why is because this particular gang is in the U.S., so where do you think they got the gun from? Please. Please. They got the gun from who? The gang. They landed here in the U.S. Where did they go? I don't know where they got a gun. Do you know where they got a gun? Especially in the blue state. I don't know where they got a gun. Please, I don't know. I don't even know. Right? They got it. They got it from who? Their affiliation. And you think mom and dad don't know about that? All right. Let's be naive forever. Yeah. No. Mom and dad are very well aware. So it makes me question a little bit the decision of the Manhattan District Attorney and the decision of really everything. I get on my final thought. Let's go to the next segment. I'm trying not to jump the gun. No pun intended. Next segment.
15-year-old migrant shot a woman inside JD Sports in Times Square, then allegedly fired at officers who were chasing him.
This is Jesus Alejandro Rivas Figueroa, a 15-year-old male who was caught shoplifting at a sporting store in Times Square, along with two other suspects by a loss prevention officer. The loss prevention officer asked for a receipt from the boys when he noticed them clutching a bag full of clothes and sneakers, and when they could not provide one, he retrieved the stolen bag and tried to ask the boys more questions. This is when suddenly the teen wearing all white, Rivas Figueroa, pulls out a .45 caliber weapon and fires at the officer, and then at the crowd.
Okay.
Luckily, the bullet missed the officer, but unfortunately, a hit occurred on a 37-year-old Brazilian tourist who was in line trying to buy sneakers. She sustained injuries in one of her knees. The crowd got scared, and then chaos exuded within the store as everyone started running and hiding.
Look at that. Yeah. And, you know, a stampede occurred. You know, you could get very injured when people start running around like that. What if you have a really young child? My daughter she walks, but she's very unsteady. I'm just telling you, the tourists just went there to go shopping. It takes one moment to ruin your life. Yeah. Anyway, let's continue.
A big bang and yeah.
Two of the teens fleeing the sporting shop were spotted at 47th Street and 7th Avenue by NYPD patrol officers. And at this point, one of the individuals was apprehended. Jesus, pronounced Jesus, managed to evade the police at 6th Avenue, but not before shooting at the police officer chasing him, which was extremely dangerous because he was in a densely populated area, and any one of those bullets could have easily been fatal to an innocent civilian. This is why, even though the police officer drew his weapon, he could not fire at the 15-year-old because there were too many people in the area.
That is the message being sent by the courtrooms, that if you get arrested, you're back on the streets of the city in New York.
But here's where things get interesting. The migrant teen fled to a subway station and returned to his home, where he and his mother began packing up their belongings to flee the city. The suspect was later caught hiding in a wardrobe at a house in Yonkers, New York, less than 24 hours later.
Oh, hi, Mom and Dad. I'm just saying, if Olympia walked in this house, oh, Papa, you must hide me. First of all, I'd be like this. Wow, my knees hurt. Why are you painting? What's going? No, I'm lying. You have no idea of my temper. If she walked in here in crisis, all hell would break loose. What is the matter? What's going on? Everybody on hand. You got this. You got this. Who's coming? Let's go. Huh. What? You don't know who? You don't know me. Crisis control. But listen, if she walks in here and be like, Papa, the police is after me. Papa. So I'd be like, okay, stand behind me. What's the matter? Nothing. Okay. Ding dong. The cops open the door. I'm like, what do you want? Careful what you say. I got my lawyer on the phone. What do you want? So your daughter is wanted. For what? Well, look at this video. Olympia, is that you with the gun? Yes. Okay, well, officer, here. Matter of fact, I push her. I'd be like, go. She'd be like, Papa. I'm like, bye. You must be out your mind if you think I'm going to co-sign on that kind of behavior. Really? Listen, I'm a parent. My job is to make sure you're an upstanding citizen. If you go out there and act like that, then I failed. And you know what? Also, part of being a parent is not you have to let go of control. I have no choice. I don't know how my daughter's going to grow up to be. I don't know. I just hope that she become an upstanding citizen. But if she makes the choice, at the end of it, if she makes the choice to even act like that, I mean, there's different degree. There's different degree of how I can be an assistance. But this, a murderess, a gang member, or something like that, I would be so sad and disappointed. I would certainly not co-sign on this. I'm just letting you know, and that's just my kid. So if you're friends and you're a killer, 911. Yeah, I know where he is. Here's the address. Don't play with me. I'm not that life. I'm not that brave, and I don't want that around me, including my kids. Yes. So, Mom, I get it. You carried it and you pushed it out, and you raised it to 15. I know how much effort it is to get to that point. No. Yeah, in life there's winners and there are losers. I will feel like I failed, and that's okay because everybody fails all the time. That's fine, but I'm certainly not co-signing on this.
Just around 3:30 this afternoon, the police announced that there was an arrest. They arrested him at a home in Yonkers. They believe he was hiding out with family. The police commissioner updated the media just a short time ago. Take a listen.
The police were willing to spare no expense in capturing him, as a citywide manhunt was initiated after his escape at the subway station. And a $10,000 reward was offered to anyone willing to come forward with information on his whereabouts. As we stated earlier, Rivas Figueroa arrived in New York City in September last year, and his last known location was the Stratford Hotel on West 70th Street, where he stayed with his mother. Sadly, this isn't Rivas Figueroa's first crime in the Big Apple. He is suspected of being involved in an armed robbery in the Bronx that took place on Jan 27th.
Look at that.
As well as the Jan 25th incident in which shots were fired in the open air at a park in 45th Street.
The mayor holding a news conference about 25 minutes from now to update everybody about the arrest. But yes, he was taken into custody, and yes, it did happen in Yonkers. Now, this was an all-out manhunt for this kid.
Police described Rivas Figueroa as an armed and dangerous individual.
They went on the manhunt because they felt guilty. They felt guilty. Listen, government don't do stuff because they like you. I want it to be very clear. The government doesn't give a crap about you. If you think the government likes you, then no, all they care about is your taxes and your ability to pay your taxes. Anything beyond that, you're delusional. Pay attention to something. They just went on this massive manhunt because it looks really bad in the city, doesn't it? Huh? Yes, the Manhattan, New York district. No, let's let them out on bail, and then they go out and commit all this crime on camera, on tape. I told you, I'm the resident who will call your phone every day and make it my business to talk to you personally. I'm the annoying person. I'm the annoying resident. I can't imagine people over there in New York who are probably doing the same. I think it's very important as the responsible, I'm hiding my eyes because, I'm trying to hide my face. I think it's important if you do have a voice that you understand that fear-mongering is a problem. And so this kind of narrative is going to make everybody fear migrants. Look, I'm a migrant. My mom's a migrant. My whole family is a migrant. Most migrants are not bad. The majority of them are upstanding citizens. No, I'm serious. This is a very small percentage that we're seeing. But the majority of them, it's not like that. So you might ask yourself, why are you making this story about the migrant too, Alistair? No, I tell you, the reason why I'm making this, you know what, I tell you right now, it's because the situation, it's because laws, regulation, policies are meant to evolve and adapt with the times. You can't have a law from the 1920s, and not review it when it's 2100, Things need to adapt and change to the times. And so I think all of those bear releasing, all of that is because there's a law in there that allows that to happen. Change it, because the volume and the influx of all that mess is no longer conducive to having such a lackadaisy policies. It's time to change it. That's all. And the second reason is because I have family. Look, my in-laws, most of them are in New York. The only person in New York is my brother, my older brother. He's in the Bronx. And he's in a good part of the Bronx. Yes, they do exist. But listen, even he is nervous. Okay? I'm telling you, some of my in-laws moved out. I'll tell you a story. There was an incident that happened. My mother-in-law is no longer in New York. She moved. And she moved for the main reason is because not far down the street, there was a home invasion into her situation. And she lived also in a nice place. And she's like, what? Yeah. And these are like townhomes and stuff. It's like, anyway, I lock my doors. White people don't lock their doors. No, I like click, bolt. I lock my stuff. So But, they're not used to locking their stuff. So someone just walked in and committed a crime. And my mother-in-law was like, no, that's not happening. And, in my family, there's a lot of movement. People come in and out. So doors are not locked anymore. Used to. They're locked now. But my mother-in-law was like, I can't deal with this. So she moved. My older brother is also thinking about moving because he's like, I can't. This is very difficult. I have a young child. This is really hard. My own mother, who goes and visits my brother, gets very nervous when she goes and visits to the Bronx. Extremely nervous. And so I'm telling you, in terms of underground, what is happening, I'm picking my words carefully. Can you tell I'm really nervous? I don't want to perpetuate the narrative that migrants are bad. Migrants are not bad. This is just the very few that are acting up like lunatics. And then, we need to be more aware and not be like, it's okay, they're just here to find a better life. No, most are. But you need to have stricter situation when it comes to those who act stupid and a fool. Certainly not let them go out over there in the streets. I need a moat and a very big wall. Matter of fact, human beings are really exhausting. You're wondering why am I spazzing? No, I'm having a good time. I hope you're having a good time. Are you having a good time? Yeah! Are you wiggling and shaking and shimming in your boobies? Yeah! Are you wiggling your butt? Yeah! All right, look, press like, subscribe. Let's continue and press play on this.
Via the borders.
What the fuck?
Look at that.
Up to 14 migrants were involved in that violent spree. 7 were arrested, and only 1 was held in jail with the possibility of bail. Every other migrant was released, and they're believed to have fled the city for California.
Did you see that? Careful, Alistair. Careful. Not all migrants are bad. Look, I'm one of them, and I'm not bad. No. How much more of this? Because, all right. This is where it breaks my heart. If it's almost very sad. At 2 sides of the coin. The first side is, when you migrate, no matter where it is, you have to understand that this is not home. This is not, you're entering into a different culture that gives you the space to hold your own thought and values. Sure, but you have to also respect how people are also living. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? I mean, I'll go on and on 2 particular subjects. The first one is, African migrants still don't quite understand that LGBT rights and women's rights is a matter here in this country. They don't quite get it, that you cannot put your hands on someone and you cannot walk it around like a stupid idiot with the attitude and the opinion that, gay people, oh my God, what's that? Women talking back to me, what is that? This is not the place. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Okay, second example is people that come from a violent situation. Don't come in here and create ruckus. Because let me tie the loose end a little bit, okay? And I guess this is where I'm following this story, it's a little bit personal. Because the far right is on the rise because people use information like this boy, information like this story to influence people like the public. Influence the public. To be like, oh my God, migrants are terrible. Ah! No. No. That's why it's on the rise. And to anybody who has the ability to take up their 2 feet and migrate, understand, you go into somebody else's home. Yeah. You have to abide somewhat to what they believe in. And it's not all about you. God damn it. People always think it's about them. What the hell is this? People think they just walk into a room and it's about them. It's not about you. Sorry to tell you, it is not about you. And again, maybe you could call me crude, jaded, and whatever, but nobody really gives a damn. I know it sounds like hard, but people don't care like that. Everybody have their own lives and busy, their own problems to sit there and really care about you. And if you wait for the government to sit there and solve your problem, you're going to wait forever. Forever. Right? You have to create and make your own pathway. I hope my final thought was well thought out. But yeah. So I guess not all migrants are bad. The majority are actually pretty good. Okay, the majority of migrants drives the economy. Did you know that? Yeah, migrants are 3 times more likely to start a small business. Small business is what really it pays the bills locally for the state tax. They pay taxes, right? Yes. Migrants, migrants, for 2 particular reasons. It's really hard for them to find a job, so they have to create opportunities for them. And number 3 is they go in there with the mentality that I'm going to go in there and make a better life for myself. So they go in there and try to make a better life for themselves. That's why. So the numbers, plenty of studies, plenty of data out there that really showcase migrants. People want migration, okay? Migrants, most of the time, is extremely good for the economy. The more migrants you have, careful there. I don't know about that last part because I'm not sure about the numbers, but I was going to say the more migrants you have, the better the economy, but I don't know. I didn't look at the data for that, so I can't even speak on that. But everything else, you can look it up yourself and make your own deduction. But my whole point is that I'm glad they were arrested. New York City, please do better. Change your stupid, crappy laws of like no bail for violent criminals. And everybody, life evolves, society evolves with it. Ooh, hold on one second. What text is that? I can't even turn this off. Ooh. Pause. I have to go. Okay. Welcome to my Let's Talk. This is where I take off my jacket, talk to you a little bit more. If you got to this point, I love you very much. Press like, subscribe, and let's talk. So, yeah, you saw, like, I have my phone in mirror mode. A lot goes on when I do the shows. This is for the new guys. I know the OG know the story, but for the new ones, you might be wondering why my eyeballs are looking a little bit over the places, because there's conversations happening and I need to pay attention. And sometimes I interject. Now I don't like editing. I do as little editing as possible because editing is a nightmare. So yeah, you get what you get. And sometimes like moments like that, like this text was very important. I needed to step out and address it. So, that's it. There it is. But please, the less I have to edit, the better. Those things, I may not seem like it, but I do it one take and I have 1 hour to do it. 1 hour to do it and 1 hour to edit. Not more, because after 2 hours, I can't spend more than 2 hours on a video. Are you out of your mind? I don't have time like that. If it's more than less than 2 hours, too bad. Next day, and then hopefully, I'll put things now more on it is what it is, and it's not what it's not, because I'm not killing myself. I'm not killing myself because I can't. I have a daughter to feed. I need to be healthy, happy all the time, 24/7, darling. Happy, healthy all the time, 24/7, darling. What was that? Whatever. So, I gotta show you something. Okay, I tell you guys, I have 4 minutes. Hour. Listen, 2 things. So, we had a daughter through surrogacy. That's important, so I can explain the story. So we had a daughter through surrogacy, and it's extremely expensive, and the financing options were completely ridiculously stupid. But such is the world. So after she was born, after we wrote the last check, by the way, it's through escrow, so you don't really write a check. You write the whole check up front. But after the last payment was sent to the surrogate, we were broke. We were like completely cash empty for literally 1 year. And we couldn't afford anything else. I remember we got home and we're like, don't get sick. Don't get a cough. Dress up nice. Not nice, zip up. Close your jacket. Couldn't afford anything at all. Matter of fact, this is the beauty of I guess our family, is that my mother-in-law took over feeding us because we were so cash poor. Of course we could eat. Come on, I'm being ridiculous. But my mother-in-law was like, no, you got my granddaughter. I will take care of the feeding. She fed us for the entire first year because we were like, don't move for 1 year, don't move. She fed us for the entire first year. And she hasn't stopped. So we haven't purchased a single piece of clothing for our daughter. No, thank God. No, that's hand-me-downs. And maybe my sister-in-law is like, give it to her. No, Olympia's clothes is all hand-me-downs, all right? Including her toys. Not a single purchase of her toys. Maybe $100. That's it. And her food, even her formula. No, mother-in-law paid for it. And feeding us as a household, mother-in-law pays for that. Serious. It's just like, she's going to be 2 in June. She's going to be 2 in June. June 20th is when she's going to be 2. And just now we started going back to the grocery store. Oh crap, expensive. But anyway, the point of me telling you this, I always tell you she feeds us, but she feeds us like breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert. It's the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Okay, let me show you there in the editing. You see that? Okay, so I'm going to point out in the hours in the editing, but you have breakfast, and it's healthy food too, because I'm a fitness guy. I try to eat healthy here. So you have breakfast, you have the lunch, the dinner, but like this is a week's worth of food. Okay? And then she comes in on Sunday, she sends a text, I'm on my way. She has the password to get into the house. I'm on my way, I was like, just text me if you're not home. Just text me so I know it's not the killer coming in to kill us. And so she just comes in and click, drops the food. Hello, thank you. We talk a little bit while I put the food away. Where's my granddaughter? Oh, Olympia, Or she goes pick up the kid at the daycare, which really helps me sometimes because I pick her up at 4:30 and stuff. I like that. So she comes in with the kid and the food. It's great. But, I always wanted to take a picture of it. But, I'm not from the social media era. I'm 38 years old. It's the other kids. It's the 30-year-old who are used to the stuff. I'm used to keeping my own business and not sharing anything. Yeah. I grew up in an era without social media, so it's very weird to me to take pictures of my food. It's just odd. And so, but I was like, oh, wait a minute. Actually, it's my mother-in-law who took the picture. She's like, I'm on my way. Here's what I got you with the little menu. Yeah, she feeds us like that. Anyway, so, right. And then I'm single parenting. Ooh. I'm only saying that because so I'm doing pre-recorded content. And so I don't know when this is going to come out. So yes, I'm single parenting for the week, but maybe you'll see that after I'm done single parenting. Oh, whatever. You know how I do my operation. It's very difficult to make up a story and lie. This is why I don't understand liars. Too much work. Just go in there with the truth and let them deal with it. Here's my truth. You deal with you deal with it. It's on you, not on me. Please, and have you tried pleasing people? You know how exhausting it is to please people? First of all, they will never be happy. Second of all, sometimes someone wants broccoli. What if you don't like broccoli? Then I have to sit there and eat broccoli just to please you? Pleasing people is a mess. Be considerate, sure, but I'm not pleasing anybody. Absolutely not! No, those days are over. I'm 38. Maybe if I was 18, you would have a better chance. Not even at 18, because I always said no to everything, and I always moved at my own pace. I've always moved at my own pace. I got in trouble a lot in my life because someone's like, "I'll do it now." I'm like, "I'll do it tomorrow." It's not procrastination. It's just I need to move at my own pace. Like, because if you integrity, if you say something, you better deliver. But some reality is sometimes, oh wait, I don't smell. It just seems to be on the edge of I need to reapply deodorant. I have to go. I'm 1 minute over the hour mark. 2 minutes now. I know. I have to be strict about it. I cannot spend more than 2 hours per video. Do you know when we first started, it was 6 hours per video? Do you know that during the Dara Books time, it was 6 hours per video? 6 hours per video, and I will post like 4 videos a week. Do you remember? No, you do the math. 4 times 6. I can't even believe that. I don't know No, because Christopher was single parenting to allow me to be here and having a good old time. And I was like, this feels really wrong because I'm a parent. I can't have the other one just be a single parent. You know, Christopher would do anything for me. He would. This is why I have to step in and say, no, it's okay. You don't have to do it. He would do anything. I love that about him, but it's his Achilles heel. I never use it. I never use it because then it feels, I never use it. Yeah. I had always to step in and be like, it's okay. I got this. No, thank you. Yeah, he would do anything. I love it though. I love it. It's very reassuring to like, you know, it's like a sense of security when you move through life and be like, because I know I got Christopher in my back, you know. If whatever happened, it's nice. But I always save it for the trump card. I'm like, I'm gonna wait till I really need it, you know. You said you would do it for me. Bye. Thank you for watching. See you next time.